Welcome to Once Upon a Pipe. This is take number 2. For some reason, my camera stopped recording when I did this earlier. And that's alright. I'm just out here, just a little bit south of the city of Wilmore, and I'm just kind of taking it easy and reflecting upon the words of today from the sermon I heard this morning. And this is Sanctity of Life Sunday, so it was a reminder that all life is precious in the eyes of God, remembering that the life of the unborn, as well as those around us, in all different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, races, etc., that life in the eyes of God is precious. To kind of keep me company while I'm reflecting on that is McClellans Pal O' Mine. And it says here that this is supposedly, if I can focus it here, this is a pleasant companion, in that it's never rough or harsh. So we'll see how that works out here. This is my eBay find here. It's a Roadhouse bamboo pipe. Sometimes you find these things on eBay and there aren't too many people that bid on them, so I get a decent rate on it. This is alright, it'll get me by. I want to just share with you a recent experience I had going into Walmart, and the challenge and how it kind of relates to today's message. First, let me get this. Just as kind of a side note, side trail, has absolutely probably nothing to do with the message, but I think it's kind of neat. This lighter here I've had for umpteenth years, probably. I may have even got this before we were married, and I've been married 18 years. I don't know where it's been for the last 15 or so. Thought it didn't work, and then just this week I decided, let me see what happened if I found it actually, and I said, well, let me put some butane in it and see what happens. And lo and behold, there it is. Works great. Well, all right, let's get to the lesson. This is a bit preachy, but that's okay, because the preachy part is more at myself than it will be at you. If you can be helped by it and be challenged, that's perfectly okay. But just to let you know, this is for me, okay? My wife bought an item to go in my daughter's bedroom, and it didn't work out, so she kindly sent me to Walmart with the receipt to exchange it, or to return it. I didn't necessarily pick the best time of day to go, and it was after I got off work, so everybody's getting off work, making their stop by Walmart. And as I got to the exchange and return, there were some people in front of me from another country. They were a different race, different country. They were foreigners. I think one of them could speak English. Maybe they could understand it better than they could speak it, but I found myself being challenged. I found myself getting very frustrated and growing impatient. Interesting enough, on this little pipe tamper that I made here, this is the one that I keep in the brown bomber. Stays on my dashboard. Look at that. says patience. Patience. And I did not really exhibit a lot of patience. I found myself being challenged because not only did I not exhibit the kind of patience that I should have, but I did not exhibit the kind of love that I have. So I'm standing there in line, and as I'm growing more and more impatient, as it's taking a seemingly long time to get for these folks to return their item, it dawned on me that I'm wrong. I'm wrong about how I'm feeling in my heart, and just this whole frustration that I'm feeling more at the people than the situation. And today's message, being Sanctity of Life Sunday, was from Acts chapter 10, verses 9 through 28. And Peter, in that passage, is basically being told, Peter, you're going to have to love the Gentiles, okay? You need to go to the Gentiles. And so Cornelius, through a vision, was told to summons Peter to come to him. And so he sends some men out. They summon Peter, and Peter had a vision. While these guys were on the way, Peter had a vision of all kind of food being lowered down, and God told him to kill and eat. And these were items that would not be kosher for a Jew to eat. And God clearly made it plain to Peter that God himself provided it, and that he was to eat, and that it was good. Well, there's a lot more to say to that, but I'm gonna just try to keep it at that level for right now. And I want to talk about the challenge that I had. The challenge of life being precious to God, all life, in our response to it, in particular my response. I have to say, my response was not the response that it should have been. So as I'm waiting in line at Walmart earlier this week, I started thinking, here are these people. I'm not going to say what country they're from, but from their attire, and just watching them, I'm assuming that they were definitely of a different faith. And being foreigners and taking an exceptionally long time to get this return done, I just grew very frustrated. So started hearing God's voice speak to me, saying, how can you be frustrated at these people, or not have a compassion for them when you pray for missionaries to go to their country and share the love of Christ with them, the good news of the gospel, right? And then have those very people from the country which you pray for the missionaries to go to and do that stand right in front of you and not exhibit any love for them. I think that's where the rubber meets the road. That just is not a that was very hard. I found that the Lord was right. Can't do that. Cannot do that. I can't pray for missionaries in a country to share the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and then have people from that country stand in front of me and not do the very same thing. I think we need more trips to Walmart. I think this year, in the year 2016, it takes more than just reading the Bible. It takes more than just doing devotions. It takes more than praying. And all of those things are good. They're necessary. They're part of the workout. Okay, you don't just do push-ups and then think that's going to get your whole body strong. You don't just do sit-ups and say, oh, now my whole body is going to get strong. You don't just go out and run and not do the other exercises and say, oh, everything's going to be good. You run, you do push-ups, you do sit-ups, you do calisthenics, you do a variety of exercises to work the entire body. Well, likewise, I think part of the exercising for our spiritual walk, well, it's not a spiritual walk, our walk with God. Our walk with God is spiritual, emotional, physical. It's everything. Okay, it's involving more trips to Walmart at the worst times of the day, times where we know that we're going to be uncomfortable and challenged. It's going there and standing in the lines behind people who will frustrate us and maybe aggravate us or challenge us. And quite honestly, if I look at myself, if those people had been from this country and maybe had been standing in front of me with their pants down around their waist and all that stuff, I probably would have been equally as challenged. Okay, but here's the deal: love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and all your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, upon these two commands hang all the law and the prophets. That's it. That is the simple gospel truth. You go through and you read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love passage, if you will. All right, read at many weddings. All right. Well, what it boils down to, if you do all these things, if you pray more, if you read the Bible more, and you have devotions more, but you don't love more, what is everything else? It's noise. It's noise. If I go to Walmart and I stand in line behind people and I let my own selfishness, my own agenda, hey, I want to get through, come on, I need to return my items, and push that to the forefront and push loving these people behind me, then I'm wrong. Then my faith needs to grow more. I need to be challenged more. So I think for 2016, I need to make more trips to Walmart. And I need to love the people the way that God wants me to love them. That may be you too. If so, pray with me that we'll do that. That we will value life, and we won't just see people as obstructions to our own agenda, but that we will see people the way that God wants us to see them, and we will love them accordingly. And that's how it is here on Once Upon a Pipe. May God bless you. May God challenge you in 2016 to grow in the ways in which we need to grow. Thank you.